You are in the middle of a show, or a work call that actually matters, or an online game you are about to win. And out of nowhere, the internet just stops. Nobody unplugged anything. Nobody turned it off. Nobody touched a single thing. It just quits. Stay with me until the end, because the real reason behind this has nothing to do with what most people blame. And no, it is almost never your internet provider. This happens in practically every home on the planet. Doesn't matter if you live in the United States, Japan, or Brazil. The ritual is always the same. The internet drops, you glance at the router, you see the lights blinking in some strange pattern, and you already know what to do. Unplug it. Wait a few seconds. Plug it back in. It works almost every time. And that's exactly where the mystery is. Because nobody ever really explained why it works. We learned this move the same way we learned to knock on wood, without knowing the reason, just knowing it gets the job done. The router has become one of those objects everyone owns but nobody actually understands. It sits in some corner, half hidden behind the TV or on top of a shelf. And you only remember it exists the moment it stops doing its job. But I promise you, there's something hidden here nobody ever told you about. First layer. That little box is not just some dumb pipe that passes internet through. Inside it, there's a processor, memory, a whole tiny system running, not that different from a small computer. It decides in real time where every single piece of information coming in and out of your house needs to go. And just like your own laptop starts choking when you have 40 tabs open, plus a video streaming in the background, plus a game running at the same time, the router chokes too. Except instead of tabs, it's dealing with devices. A modern home can easily have more than 20 devices connected to the same network. Your phone, the TV, a speaker, the fridge, a smart doorbell, even a light bulb that turns on through an app. Every single one of them is quietly asking for the router's attention, all day long, even when nobody is actively using them. Eventually, it just can't keep up anymore. And it freezes. Second layer. And here's the part almost nobody knows. Your internet connection has an address. The same way your house has a street number, your router gets a number that identifies it on the entire internet. That's called an IP address. Except that number isn't permanent. Your provider only lends it to you for a limited stretch of time. Could be a few hours, could be a few days. When that window runs out, they swap it for a new one, automatically, without any warning. But if the router is already overloaded, busy juggling 20 devices at once, it can miss the fact that its address just changed. And it keeps trying to use the old one, knocking on a door that isn't there anymore. It's like moving to a new apartment but still waiting for your mail at the old address. The letter exists. It was sent. It just never arrives, because it's headed to a place where nobody lives anymore. Third layer. And this is exactly where the real reason behind unplugging and plugging back in comes in. When you pull the router from the outlet, all that built up energy inside its parts drains out completely. The memory wipes clean. Everything that was stuck, every attempt to reach that old address, gets erased for go. OD. And when the device powers back on, it starts fresh, like it was just born. It reaches out for a brand new address. It sorts out everything that was tangled inside. It's not magic. It's a tiny, overworked computer finally getting to breathe. And that explains why this one simple trick solves the vast majority of slow or frozen internet complaints. The problem was never the speed you're paying for every month. The problem was a small device trying to handle too much information, stuck on an address that no longer existed. There's another villain in this story that almost nobody connects to the problem. Heat. A router crammed behind the TV, inside a closed cabinet, covered in dust, with zero room to breathe. That heats up the parts inside, the same way your phone overheats after a long gaming session on low battery. And a hot device performs worse, freezes more, loses power little by little. Sometimes it happens so slowly, over weeks, that you just start feeling like the internet's been kind of bad lately, with no idea the real culprit is a small machine suffocating behind a piece of furniture. There's also a fight happening in the air of your home, all the time, that you've never actually seen. Most routers broadcast on a very crowded frequency, the same one used by microwaves, baby monitors, and even your neighbor's router through the wall. That builds up noise, signals crashing into each other in the same space, making it harder for your information to get through. There's an alternative frequency, faster and far less crowded, but with a much shorter range. Great for a small apartment, where the distance to the router is never that big. For a larger house, with walls in the way, the slower but longer-reaching frequency usually YNS. There's an interesting exception to all of this. Sometimes you do everything right. You restart, reposition, switch frequencies, update the device, and the internet is still just as bad. In those cases, the problem might not even be inside your house. It could be miles away, on a pole down your street or at a hub farther out, on the provider's side. A faulty cable, an outage hitting the whole area, not just your home. No home trick fixes that one alone. Only a technician tracing the issue back to its source can. And here's one more detail worth knowing. Routers older than 5 years often can't even keep up with the speed you're paying for today. It's like trying to fill an entire swimming pool with a thin garden hose built for a completely different time and a completely different demand. It's worth checking every once in a while if there's an update available for your device, because part of the slowdown might simply be old software fighting a modern internet it was never built to handle. Next time your internet drops out of nowhere, maybe you won't just get annoyed. Maybe you'll remember that inside that quiet little box, there's a whole tiny computer trying to juggle 20 devices, an address that changes without warning, and a pile of invisible noise fighting for space in the air of your home. And that automatic habit of unplugging it and waiting a few seconds is really just the simplest way to give that machine, working non-stop in some forgotten corner of your house, a chance to breathe. If this made you look differently at something you do almost every single day, hit like and subscribe. There's a lot more obvious stuff out there just waiting to be figured out. Obvious only looks obvious, until you understand why unplugging your router for 10 seconds fixes almost everything.